A year ago, I had the unpleasant duty of breaking a story on a gas explosion at the atomic junction here in Accra. 7 people lost their lives. We started a conversation using the hashtag Never Again. We put pressure on those responsible to ensure that gas explosions are things of the past. What have we been able to achieve a year on? Well, let's hear from the National Petroleum Authority. A cylinder recirculation model was created as one of the measures to reduce such explosions. But before that, let's take you to the scene of that unfortunate incident a year ago.
About 4 months getting to 6 months, they were not doing any business here because this whole place was cordoned off. But today, they are able to do business here as they are continuing with the commercial activities that used to characterize this place. I have one, a survivor, somebody who survived the explosion here. He was actually doing business here on that day when the incident happened. I'll be interacting with him to find out from him a year on what life has been like for him. Mufta Musa, you're welcome to join us. So when you say run 1 year explosion is here and then run 1 year. The person who changed last year a dear puts in a sea.
Say last year no. Yeah, we are gas tank and buy. Gas filling station.
Okay. Well, he says they were here a year ago. They were actually here doing business here when they saw 2 bulk road vehicles entering the gas filling station.
He
said this was around 6:30 p.m.
And it is a gas and a pie.
Ansana, you muti se gas na pile no e die na course one sana muti explosion
say was station animal tina gas few station so animal it's a rare pile no na was station na enu de nche buy pile say
pile na wo kan wo patch leakage ana say okay
leakage
muti pampan no we mu ana say obi na catch up
say leak na ache
and pampa no na muti and
pampa neti and we say vapor no enam soro.
Okay. Well, he says they first sensed the leakage from the gas filling station. That was when they got the alert that something dangerous was about to happen.
Tilik vapor no nam soro no mo say enjane o.
When am I catch them some enjane?
O man no be mo gas filling station one.
Okay.
Ti no mo tete no so na so ya ben mo.
Okay. He says the owners of the gas filling station actually came out and started screaming, telling them to actually move away from this place because there was a leakage from one of the bulk road vehicles coming to discharge the gas here. Well, he says, it was difficult getting help from people, but at the end of the day, it was a taxi driver who managed to take him, to the hospital. But I want you to have a clearer view of what happened to him, the injuries that he sustained. So these are all injuries from the gas explosion that happened here. He was a driver here at this place. They got the alert, but he came back to move his car. Just when he moved the second car, then the explosion happened. And these are the injuries that he sustained. But Sena wadam fufuo no omo fra gas man ni ade ade. Dia na asesa won.
My body now as son say gas na ye me santi o da to me din gas man tina mo friend me gas man
nti asai bibi won ho ana
asai bibi won de say nyi se na my body na tie nti we na abasa na chama my body na asesa nti ka me nya mo bi o metim da bo me da makoye surgery dia fine me no problem
no person ko surgery
and I just say Mobian free baby ma.
Okay, so I was asking him what has changed about his life after the gas explosion, and he's telling me that the burns that he sustained, and right now he's talking about getting some surgery to correct this. He says his friends now actually call him Gas Man. After the explosion happened, and then he actually survived it, but now they call him Gas Man at the atomic lorry station. And you will see a Mwebi and free baby amba.
Well, after that event, a lot of questions were asked, and hopefully we'll get some answers today. I've been joined by Kofi Forson, Acting Assistant Director of Operations at the Ghana Fire Service, and he's to my immediate left. And Ato Kosa is Acting Assistant Director of Safety at the Ghana National Fire Service. Good to have you here, gentlemen. First, I know the question that may be lingering on a lot of minds is, do we have a conclusive report a year on about what happened at the Atomic Junction?
Thank you very much. For reports, whenever there was an outbreak of fire and the client or whoever suffered, the fate of the fire, request for a fire report, we do issue a report to the client. And some of the high-profile fires are being, done by a committee who will sit and then, write the report.
Okay.
Basically, with this one in question, the report has been done. I mean, we finished with the report.
Okay.
As to who requests for the report, it should come from the top.
So do we know what exactly led to the fire?
Basically, from the investigation that conducted, there was a leakage of gas. And gas, basically, when it leaks, it expands. Now, when that thing happened, it's for almost about 5 to 10 minutes, it was still leaking. Okay. The only person who happens to be at the scene at that time was the BRV driver. Okay. And he started, alerting people to move away from there because there's a gas leakage. So when it got to a certain point, once a spark, the flash point of gas is negative 60 degrees. So any naked spark can ignite it. So from this very scene, it picked an unknown source of light from somewhere and then flashed back. Okay,
but that's the question, because we all know there was leakage of gas. So what exactly caused the spark? Briefly, do we know? Yes or no?
For what's caused it, but there are so many possible sources.
So we don't know. All right, let me come to you, Mr. Atukosa. Cabinet came out with some 9 pointers after this event. One of them was that the safety protocols within the entire value chain were supposed to be reviewed, and that was supposed to be done in conjunction with the NPA and other stakeholders in the industry. Has that been done, and what have you been able to come up with in terms of review?
Greetings to the viewers. We have, after the directive, a committee sat, multi-sectorial committee sat, and first thing we did is to review the siting of these gas filling stations and plants. And those that are vis-a-vis closer to or sited in a highly density area, we quickly close them down. And those that are the strategic areas, we maintain them. Apart from that, we also looked at the engineering aspect of the plant to ensure that the engineerings are very intact. You know that there's this beautiful policy government has also rolled out that has to do with cylinder recirculation, where committees, 3 committees are formed, that's subcommittees, looking at the pricing, looking at HSSE, that is health, safety, and security matters. And we have come up with the regulatory framework, and it is ongoing. Apart from that, there had been a lot of meetings involving the OMCs, and we have been meeting with the managers and the workers of the filling stations and pump attendants and all that.
Let me ask you, Mr. Atukosa, have we closed down any gas filling stations or any fuel stations as a result of this review that you did and the fact that some didn't meet the standards you required?
Yeah, at the initial stage, those that, when it happened, those that were sited at highly density areas, 2 or 3 were closed down, but look, it's in a process. What we are doing is that we have classified the gas filling into category high, medium, and low risk. All right. And we are going to tie it with this recirculation model thing. Okay. Now,
which hasn't yet started, a year on.
Yeah, that is it, a year on. And we are a bit late behind time, and God will get there. And what is going to happen is that the medium and high risk and the low are going to be assigned a role when those things roll out. So there are measures that's coming up to ensuring that these things will be the thing of the past. It won't happen again.
All right, great to have you here. Kofi Forsing is Acting Assistant Director of Operations at the Ghana Fire Service, and Ato Kosa is Acting Assistant Director of Safety at the Ghana National Fire Service. We'll bring you a statement released by the National Petroleum Authority on the 7th of October 2018, and it's talking about the Mansco atomic gas explosion. A year ago, on October 7, 2017, we experienced a gas LPG explosion at Mansco refilling plant at Atomic Junction, Accra. Following the incident, Cabinet directed a number of actions, among which is the implementation of the National LPG Policy on 12 October 2017 through the cylinder recirculation model of LPG distribution. The Ministry of Energy subsequently directed the National Petroleum Authority to constitute an implementation committee to plan and execute the policy. The policy objective is to ensure at least 50% of Ghanaians have access to safe and environmentally friendly LPG for domestic, commercial and industrial use by 2030. In order to achieve that target, the NPA was empowered to oversee the implementation of the following plans. 1, the development of a market-driven structure that ensures safety and increased access to LPG. 2, enhance the capacity of existing regulatory institutions in order to meet the regulatory requirements of the new market structure. There are a lot more that I'm sure you'll get in subsequent bulletins.